It is so windy today. What is happening? Hey guys, what's up? It's Belle. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello. If you've come back, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Today is a very exciting video. It is my first reading wrap up of the year. Okay, guys, somehow through my crazy life and depression this month, I read 11 books and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't understand how I did it. Especially when you see what books I read, the size of some of the books I read. Also, do we like the new setup? I know you guys can't see the entire bookshelf, but I got this bookshelf from an op shop for $10. And that is just insane to me. I was very, very blessed. Anyways, I read 11 books this month, which is insane. It's not like, especially if you look at the last few months of last year, I was reading on average between like 4 to 6 books. So I don't know what was in the water this month. However, here we are. So I believe that 2 of these were on my Kindle and the other 9. Yeah. What am I missing? You guys, I feel like I'm missing a book. Guys, I almost forgot about a very, very, very big book that I read this month and I was just counting my stack and it wasn't in there. Oh no, I'm gonna have to go back to my TikTok now and like make an edit. Anyways, 9 of these books were physical copies, 2 were on my Kindle. Let's get a cup of tea, let's have a snack, let's sit down and let's chat about what I thought about the books I read in January. Okay, so the first book that I read this month, I don't even know if I can say this name without getting in trouble. It is called The Cocker Spaniel Down the Block. This is by Amy Award. Now, I actually haven't read anything by this author before, but I saw the cover, I saw a few people talking about it on TikTok, and I thought, let's just give it a bloody go. Now, this was like a sports romance. This was like childhood friends to lovers. The guy falls first. He's been sort of pining after her his whole life. And it was really, really cute. I gave it 3 stars. It was an okay book and I gave it 1.5 chili spices. I don't know. It was quite a short book. And I think what I'm now noticing as a reader myself is I'm enjoying the long slog. I need the slow burn. And I feel like if a relationship doesn't have that and it feels like instantly resolved, that I'm just not connecting to the relationship as much as I would like to be. So for that reason, I gave it a 3-star. But the spicy scenes were really good and I really did enjoy them. Now, the second book that I attempted to read this month was Lose You to Find Me by Eric J. Brown. Now, if anybody knows me, they'll know that All That's Left in the World by the same author was one of my favorite books that I read in 2022. It follows 2 boys who, I guess, meet each other and find each other, I guess, in a post-apocalyptic world. And it is a beautiful book and I love it. And apparently there's a sequel coming. So I thought, okay, Eric, I'm excited to read what you put out next. I think what I've discovered about myself this month is that young adult is just not for me, except for Heartstopper. Heartstopper is the exception. Young adult's just not for me, you guys, because there were multiple things that happened in this book that I wanted to like scream. The biggest issue I had with this book is the male main character, one of the male main characters, was like willing to give up his entire future, his entire life for the other main character who literally was dating somebody else and did not give a shit about him. And I just wanted to shake him and say, what are you doing? And then the thing that made me DNF this book, I DNF'd it at about 80%. The 2 characters are having a fight and something happens to one of the characters. And I said, no, I'm done. I'm done. I'm fully done. Finished, bin material. This will be donated. Please don't. I mean, read it if you would like to. Reading is subjective, but I personally just, no. Now, I forgot to mention this book in my reading wrap up on TikTok. How embarrassing. I guess it kind of works because this book has a little bit of controversy around it. Not the book per se, but I guess the publishing company from the US has been on strike. In solidarity to that, I wasn't speaking about it at the time of publication. However, in Australia, this book is published under a different publishing house. So for that reason, I will be discussing this book, and it is Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. Now, this is the second book, and I believe it's called The Letters of Enchantment Duology Duet. The first book being Divine Rivals, which every man and their dog absolutely loved last year. And I gave the first book either a 4 or a 4.5 star because I think that the romance is phenomenal. The plot, pretty average. But when I found out what this book was going to be about, I immediately, before I even read it, I knew it was going to be outstanding. And the first 50, maybe 60% of this book, I was crying. I was in hysterics. My heart was breaking for these two. It was just so well done. And I truly, every time like someone asks me for soulmate recommendations, I always say these two because I actually think the love story in this is incredible and is phenomenal. The plot in this one, again, it gets messy. It gets messy towards the end. And for that reason, I have to bump it down a little bit. So this one I gave 4.5 stars. It was so beautiful. And the duet as a whole, I will always recommend. It was so, so, so beautiful. I thought my head just went in the candle. The next book, we all know what I did this month. If you saw my previous video, you know what's about to come. So I read A Court of Thorns and Roses in December of last year. It was my last book of 2023. And I said, guys, this is boring. This is average. You're lying to me. And everybody said, Belle, please, 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 please. If you do not do anything else in your life, please read A Court of Mist and Fury because it will change your mind. The first book is trash. The second book is phenomenal. So I said, okay. And I took my little butt down to the store and I bought A Court of Mist and Fury. Would you like a hint as to how much I like this book? As you all said, this was phenomenal. This was my favorite book of January. Woo! Favorite book of January. There was something about this. The love story between Rhys and Feyre has fully changed my entire brain chemistry and it has skyrocketed them to the top of my favorite couples list of all time. There was just something about this. Chapter 54, chapter 55, if you know, you know. This book is so, so beautiful. I don't have enough words. I do not have enough words for this book. And if I could handle getting tattoos, I would be getting To the Stars Who Listen and the Dreams That Are Answered on my body somewhere because that is poetry. Sarah J. Maas, that is poetry. This book had me laughing, giggling, crying. There is the most beautiful found family in this book. 5 stars. 5 stars, 1.5 chili spices, I think. Then we read A Court of Wings and Ruin, book 3 in ACOTAR, and this one had a completely different tone. Not in the sense of like voice, but this was very, very war heavy, whereas the other book was more romance and like world building, plot development sort of thing. This was very much war plotting, war heavy, but we got to see the development between this inner circle, which is like all of the people from Valaris. I want to go to there. I will say it till the cows come home. This was also a 5-star read for me, but for completely different reasons to Akamath. This one, just like I said, the relationship building, I guess the understanding of the war, what's happening, the stakes are just so much higher, right? And I always say this when I talk about this damn book, but there is a speech that Rhys gives at some point in the book. And I was on the floor and I was in hysterics and it was beautiful. And the way this wrapped up just completely like ripped out my heart, threw it on the floor, stomped on it a little bit, chucked it through the paper shredder, then gave it back like a little bit, you know, tied up in a nice bow. 5 stars, 0.5 chili spices, I think. And then I read A Court of Frost and Starlight. I saw somebody refer to this as the Christmas special on TikTok and I'm taking it and I'm running with it because literally this was the Christmas special that was needed after Aka War because that was like trauma and crying and misery and sobbing and this was fun. And some people said that they skipped this book and I said, how can you skip the Christmas special? This was so fun. There was so much more development between the characters, the relationship that the next book follows after this. It was really important and I don't know how people skipped it. I gave it 5 stars. I read it in literally 3 hours. It was so, so, so cute and funny and fluffy and I loved it. Then I finished the ACOTAR series today and I read A Court of Silver Flames. Now this one was really hard for me because I didn't know until I picked it up that it follows a different pairing. It follows a different pairing from the original 4 books, right? So I really struggled with this because I said, what is happening? Where are Rhys and Feyre? Where are they, right? Anyways, so this book follows 2 different protagonists, still in the same like friendship group, same universe, but 2 different people, right? And I gave it 4.5 stars. It was definitely the spiciest in the series. I gave it 3 chili spices. I just think that this couple just don't do it for me the way that Rhys and Feyre did in the first couple of books. But I still think that what this FMC does for some people at the end of this book really, really bumped it up for me. And I just love found family and I'm a sucker for it. I think it was definitely an important story to tell and I can see why Sarah J Maas wrote it, but it just missed the 5-star for me in comparison to the other 3 that I just read. Akata, we're not talking about her. She was written by someone completely different, but I can't wait for the next book and I hope it's about Elaine and Asriel. I don't care what you guys say. I'm an Elaine and Asriel truther. Go jump. The next book I read was Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. Now this is Ali Hazelwood's like YA debut because usually she just writes like adult romance. So I read this, it was gifted to me by my lovely bestie. Now this is a young adult romance between like 2 competing chess players. I think the like issue that I had with this was a few things. One, there was just too much chess. For a book that is targeted as a romance book, there was way too much chess and I got bored and I found myself like skipping through. I get it, it's a book about chess. I get it, but there was too much. Like there's a line when you go, okay, how much chess is too much chess? And I felt like the line was crossed multiple times and it took away from the development of their relationship. There were definitely some swoon-worthy quotes and swoon-worthy moments that I loved from these 2, but for that reason, I gave this 3 stars. The other issue that I sort of had with it was when we did get these scenes between the couple. This book is marketed as a young adult romance, and I feel like there were certain elements of this that were definitely not young adult. They were bordering on adult. So for that reason, I think this book needs to be remarketed as an adult romance book or like early adult, but not young adult. There was a bit too much carry on for it to be young adult. And then I read another book on my Kindle and I love this book so much. I need the paperback ASAP glass, and it is For the Fans by Nyla K. This is a very, very, very taboo romance book between 2 stepbrothers who are not blood related. Don't even get it twisted with me. These are 2 stepbrothers. Their parents get married when they're just about to go to college. So they're like 17 and 18 when they meet, and then they go to college and they are like 18. So they're technically stepbrothers, but there's no blood relation. Anyways, they go to college and halfway through their like college life, their parents let them know that the business has gone under. They've got absolutely no money and they need to start, I guess, like finding a way to bring some money in to pay for their college tuition. One of the brothers dabbles in a bit of an online money-making platform where you sell videos of certain activities, and I can't say it because I will get in trouble. Anyway, one of the brothers, Avi, sort of already does this, and one thing leads to another, and let's just say that these 2 brothers do OF together to make money. And can I just say that this is enemies to lovers? Like there's like a football player brother and there's an artsy brother, like stepbrother, and the football player hates the artsy brother. Like it is enemies to lovers. Guys, this book was so good. Not only was this one of the spiciest books that I've ever read because I gave it a 4 spice. Like this is like Haunting Adeline, not like dark Haunting Adeline spice, but how many scenes there were and like how crazy they were. I gave it 4 chili spices and I gave it 5 stars because not only, like I said, not only was this book funny and spicy and sexy, it was also emotionally damaging and destroying. And I love it. And I can't wait to read more by Nyla K. I then had the privilege of receiving Bride by Ali Hazelwood a little bit earlier. This book comes out on the 6th of Feb and I got this beautiful proof copy with them and like this little flappy jacket thing. This was so good, you guys. This is Ali Hazelwood's first paranormal romance. So it is a romance between a werewolf and a vampire. So basically the premise of this one is that the humans, werewolves and vampires coexist. There's really no like seeing eye to eye. For years they've been trying to form alliances, right? We've had a few attempts at like interspecies marriages or marriage of convenience. So the main character, her name is Misery. Her father, head of the vampire clan, is like, look, we're doing an arranged marriage. You have to go and marry the alpha of the werewolf pack. His name is Lo. And they enter this marriage of convenience. And guys, this was so good. Like, if you guys love My Wife, like when the MMC in the marriage of convenience or the fake dating is like, my wife, you will love this. The spice, the tension, the comedy is always there. Ali just always knows how to deliver. But the one thing that I will say about this, if you have not read Omegaverse before, you may be a bit shocked about the spice like I was. But if you can handle that, enjoy, baby. It's a good one. I gave it 4.5 stars and I gave it 2.75 chili spices. And the very last book that I read in January was Ready for You by Samantha Lee. Now, I was very graciously gifted the entire Valentine's Bay set by Samantha herself, so thank you so much, Sam, if you're seeing this. So this series here is like a small town romance series. It is set in a town called Valentine Bay, which I'm guessing is sort of like inspired by Summer Bay, home and away vibes, Australia. If you know, you know. So the first book here follows Emily and Josh. So this is like a love after loss, fake engagement. This is so good. So Emily sort of like goes to escape her life a little bit. Her fiance called off the wedding like 3 weeks beforehand. She's gone to a new town. She wants a fresh start. And she's like, I don't need to deal with boys right now. Anyway, she sort of has a little meet cute run in with Josh, who is known as the town like bad boy. Doesn't do relationships, doesn't want to settle down. He's really reserved to himself, and things sort of go from there. I really like this book. This was really good for a debut novel. I gave it 4 stars and I gave it 1.5 chili spices because there is a scene in this that literally, I had to text my bestie Sienna about it because she's read this book, and like, I was like, girl, I was yelling. Like, some spicy scenes were really good. I'm very excited to continue the series because it's a 4-book series. Like, we've got a found family. They are interconnected standalones. So I've met some of the characters who will be in the following books, and I'm very excited. That's it, you guys. That's all the books that I read in January. Thank you guys for watching today's video. I don't know how the hell I read 11 books, but I did, and I'm very happy and very proud of myself. I don't know how we're gonna do next month, but we will see how many we end up doing. How did you guys go this month? How many books did you get around to reading? If you didn't, that's so fine too. I hope I've given you some ideas of some stuff that you may want to read in future. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Again, if you like this video, feel free to let me know in the comments, give it a like or subscribe if you haven't already. I'm trying to post a little bit more consistently now and sort of grow this out too. Thank you guys so much again. I will see you all next time. Bye.